Why separate the header from the source? Keeping all our code in one file can become very hard to maintain and manage. It's common practice to separate the header and the source files to improve our code organization and speed up our compile time. The header file is where we define all the functions, classes, and variables that will be used, kind of like contents page of a book. The source file is where we implement the functions declared in the header file. So this is where the logic and code blocks of all the functions will be ran. So we'll just create a file and we'll name it item.h, h being header. To start with, we'll create our class and we'll name it item. We'll give it a body. Before we add any variables or methods, we need to add an access specifier. So whether it should be public, private, protected, we're just going to go with public for our attributes here. So the first thing we'll put in is our constructor, because it's the first method that gets called. So we'll say item, because it doesn't have a return type. And inside the parentheses, we'll give it a name that we want the item to be called. So we'll say std : string, and give that title name. And we don't give it a body here. That's done in the source file. So this is just like the contents of a book. We're just saying what's going to be in this book. We also need to include that string header so we can use strings. Okay, and down here, let's add our attributes like std : string. Call this one name. So that's the name of our item. std : string. This one will be called description. We'll give this one a cost. So we'll say cost. So it can be sold in shops. And the last one will be a float called weight. So you could manage this in your inventory, like how much you can carry. And we just want to give this one method, and that's the use method. So it has no return type, and we'll say use parenthesis terminator. Again, we don't put the body here, we put that in the source file. So now let's create the source file. We add a file again. This time we'll name it item.cpp for C++. And create. And now we're in the item CPP file. As you can see up here. And what we want to do is now implement the methods that was from the header. But to do that, we have to include the header first. So we'll say hashtag include. And inside double quotation marks, we'll put the name of our header. And now we should be able to get access to the methods we want to implement. So we would put item : and we want item which is the constructor, parenthesis, and inside here we also have to put the std string name, and we give that a body. And this is where we could set up all our defaults. So we'll take our name and we'll set it to the name that's being passed in as the parameter. Take our description. And we'll just set to this is an item. Terminator. We'll set the cost to be 0 and the weight to be 0.1. And down here, all we have left is the method use. So let's do that one. So it has a return type of void. We'll say item use. So that's the name in the header. Give it a body. So we'll say std console out. And we need to add that as a header as well, the IO stream. We just put that up there. That space down here. We'll say left shift operator. We'll pass in the name that's been given to this item. Left shift operator inside double quotation marks. We will put a little space and say was used by the player. Terminator. So a header guard is a way of preventing the header from being included multiple times and causing errors. So there are two ways. There's the easy way and the hard way. Let's start with the hard way first. First one would be, we'd put an if statement in. So we'd say if and def. And what that's saying is if a definition has been set, then we don't include. So let's set a name that we can use as a definition. So we'd say item underscore h, because that's the name of our file. And then down here, we'd put our hashtag end if. Now, if our definition, so if the definition hasn't been set, it's empty, we can define it. So we put hashtag define item underscore h. This is a more older way, so more older compilers will recognize this. The easier way is to remove all this. Come down here, remove that. And back at the top, we can put hashtag pragma once. And this will do the same. It will prevent the file from being added twice. This is the one you commonly see in Unreal Engine. So if you want to know what that did, it's a header guard. Okay, let's come back to our main file here and actually use our item as an object. So the first thing we want to do is add the header for the item. So come up here and we'll just put an include, and inside of double quotation marks, we'll just put the name of our items header file .h, and it's grayed out because it's saying we ain't using it. We're going to use it now. So let's use our item as data type. So we say item, we'll call this potion. Now that we have our potion variable, let's use the assignment operator and actually give it an item. And in here, we have to put the name that we set up in the constructor. So we'll say, we'll call this potion terminator. Now, if we come down to the main function, let's use our potion. So we'll put potion. We use the dot to access its attributes and variables and methods, to use the use method terminator. So now let's run the console, and it's, as you can see, it says potion was used by the player. If you have any questions about anything I mentioned in this video, please feel free to leave a comment below. I hope you found this video helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.